Hey guys, you're welcome back to my channel today. Thank you so much for stopping by. In this video, we'll be cutting and sewing these two pieces that you can see on your screen, and we'll be starting by drafting out the blouse, which is a Milkmaid Bustier crop top. That's what we are going to draft first. I already have my pattern paper. I'll go ahead and start taking my points. The first point is the distance from my shoulder to my bust point, which is 10 inches. The next point is the distance from my shoulder to my under bust point, which is 13 inches. The next point is the distance from my shoulder to my waist point, which is 16 inches. And the last point is the distance from my shoulder to the length of my blouse, which is going to be 19 inches. I'll go ahead and rule straight lines across all these points, and I'm going to label my bust line, my under bust line, my waistline, and my blouse length. The next thing I'll do is to take half of my shoulder measurement on the shoulder line. I indicated that with a dot. After doing that, I went down on that same point by 1 inch for my shoulder slope, and I slanted from that point into the neckline area. The next thing I'm doing now is to take half of my round armhole circumference. Okay, I'm working with 8 inches, so I'm going to mark 8 inches from that shoulder slope, and I'm going to rule a straight line across that point, as you can see. The next thing I'll do is to place my tape back on the shoulder line. What I have there is 7 inches. I'm going to place the same 7 inches on this new line, as you can see me doing. I indicated the 7 inches with a dot. After doing that, I'm going to connect from the shoulder slope to meet the dot, and then I'm going to extend this line and label the line my chest line. The next thing I'm going to do is to place my tape on this straight line right here, and I'm going to divide what I have by 2. What I have here is 8 inches. Half of 8 inches is 4 inches. I indicated the 4 inches with a dot. On that dot, I came in more by half an inch. I also indicated the half an inch. The next thing I'll do is to place my bust circumference divided by 4 on the chest line. I also indicated that with a dot. After doing that, I'll connect from the shoulder slope to meet the half an inch that I came in with, and from that point like this to meet the dot on the chest line. After doing that, guys, next thing I'm going to do is to take my bust pan measurement, which is half of my nipple to nipple measurement. The nipple to nipple measurement I'm working with is 8 inches. Half of 8 inches is 4 inches. So I'm going to mark the 4 inches on my blouse length, on the waistline, on the under bust line, and on the bust line. After doing that, I'll connect the 4 dots into a straight line. The next thing I'll do is to take in my dart. To do that, I'll be taking half an inch on both sides of this straight line. I'm doing that on my blouse length. Okay, so my dart is not going to extend to the bust line. So what I'll do is to connect from the blouse length to meet the under bust line, as you can see me doing. Normally we extend our dart to the bust line. We just go down by 1 inch from the bust line, but this time the dart is not going to get to that point. So I'm just connecting to the under bust line like this. After doing that, guys, next thing I'm going to do is to go up by 1 inch from my under bust line. I'm going to indicate that, okay, from your under bust line, go up by 1 inch. After doing that, I'm going to use my ruler to connect from this dart leg to meet the 1 inch that I went up with like this. After doing that, guys, next thing I'm going to do is to measure this dart leg, okay, the distance from my center front to the dart leg. Okay, so if your dart leg is 3.5 inches, just place your tape on the other side and go out by 3.5 inches. But as you can see, mine is 4 inches, so I'm placing my tape on this dart leg and I'm going out by that same 4 inches that I have on the center. Okay, I hope you guys are not confused. So I'm now going to connect from that 4 inches to meet my under bust line. You can see that I extended the line to the armhole. Okay, I connected from there to the under bust line. Next thing I'll do now is to connect from this armhole area to meet the chest line. Okay, so you can achieve this using your free hand, but I'm going to use my ruler to just connect. Okay, just like you see me doing. After connecting, guys, we have our cup. The next thing I'm going to do now is to start placing my measurement. I already have my bust circumference divided by 4 on the chest line. What I'll do is to indicate it. The next thing I'll do is to place my under bust circumference divided by 4 on the under bust line, and on the blouse length I'll place my waist circumference divided by 4. Okay, I'll indicate that and I'll connect from the bust line down to the blouse length like this. After doing that, I'm going to add my stitching allowance. So I'll be using 1.5 inches as my stitching allowance. So I'm just going to go out from this previous line by 1.5 inches, as you can see me doing, and then I'll also go ahead and connect. After connecting, guys, I'm going to go ahead and use my marker to just outline the points that we are going to cut because we are done. Okay, so this part that I use my marker to outline is where I'm going to cut. So go ahead and cut just like you see me doing. So because I don't want to go and start drafting my back pattern, I don't want to start drafting all the lines, I'm going to use this front to draft out the back. So I brought in another piece of pattern paper. What I'll do first of all is to take out my zipper allowance. So for the zipper allowance, I'm using 1.5 inches. So I'm going to now place this front pattern after the zipper allowance. As you can see, I went ahead to use my pin to hold it down. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is to trace out the sides. Okay, I will also go ahead and trace out the base. Okay, the difference between this and the front is the zipper allowance. Okay, so I'll trace out this little armhole that we have on the side, and I'll also mark the center. Okay, just so I know where the neckline for the back is going to start from. After doing that, I'm going to go ahead and highlight this zipper allowance as you can see me doing. So this is a very easy way of drafting out your back pattern if you don't want to go through the process of drafting out all the lines like we did for the front. Okay, so the next thing I'll do is to determine the type of neckline that I want for the back. So you can decide to curve from this armhole area, just go down from your center back, that's the point that I have there, by 1 or 2 inches depending on how deep you want the back neckline to be, and you can just curve. But if you don't want it to be curved, you can just go ahead and connect straight to the center back just like you see me doing. So it depends on what you want for the back neckline. Okay, so after doing that, guys, the next thing I'm going to do is to mark my dart. Okay, so for my dart, I'm going to go in by half of my nipple to nipple measurement just like I did for the front, which is 4 inches. Just that for the back pattern, the dart is going to extend to the neckline. Okay, so I marked 4 inches and I'm going to connect into a straight line like this. After doing that, remember we took half an inch on both sides of the straight line for the front. That's the same thing we'll be doing for the back. I'll be taking half an inch on both sides. Go ahead and connect, okay, from the waistline to meet the neckline area as you can see me doing. Okay, after doing that, guys, next thing I'm going to do is to adjust the zipper area. To do that, I'm going to extend this line. So I have 1.5 inches on that waistline. Okay, what I'll do is to just reduce the waistline by about 0.75 inches. Okay, and I connected back to meet the neckline. This is to avoid zip bulge. Okay, so after doing that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and cut. Okay, so if you don't want to take in your dart when sewing, just go ahead and close your dart. As you can see me doing, I'm just folding it on each other. Okay, before I hold it down with my tape, I'm going to cut out the neckline. So I want this other neckline for the back, I don't want the straight one, so I decided to just trim it off. After doing that, I'm going to use my tape to just hold this dart together, just so when I'm sewing, I'm not going to take in my dart again. Okay, I'll use my tape to just hold the dart down as you can see me doing, and I'm going to label this the back pattern. Now that we are done with the back, we're going to continue with the front. So guys, I'm going to cut out this cup area as you can see me doing. After cutting, guys, I'm going to go ahead and also close this dart because I don't want to take in my dart when I'm sewing. But if you want to take in your dart, it's fine. Okay, I went ahead to just fold the dart and then I used my tape to hold it down. So after doing that, we are going to work on the curve. For the curve, I'll be doing the slash and spread method. So what I'll do is to mark 1 inch apart. Okay, so I'm placing my tape on the center front and I'm marking 1 inch. From that point, I'll take another 1 inch. I'll keep marking till I get to the end of this pattern paper. After doing that, I'm going to connect like this into a straight line, just like you see me doing. Okay, after doing that, I'm going to go ahead and label. So take note of where your center front is. Your center front is supposed to be your number 1. Okay, so I marked from number 1 to 8. After doing that, I'm going to slash through as you can see me doing, and then I'll bring a fresh piece of pattern paper that I'm going to spread all these patterns on. As you can see, I have another pattern paper here. I went ahead to rule a straight line on the center. The next thing I'll do is to bring my number 1. Okay, and I'm making sure that the second line that I have on my number 1 is what is sitting on this line of this new pattern paper. I don't know if you guys understand. So we have 2 lines on this paper that we slashed. Is the second one that is sitting on this particular line on this new pattern paper. So I want to spread by 1.5 inches. So after placing number 1, I went ahead to go out by 1.5 inches, and I'm going to place number 2, as you can see me doing. So you can spread by 2 inches or 2.5 inches depending on how busty you are, but the person I'm making this for is not busty at all. That is why I'm spreading by 1.5 inches. Okay, so after placing number 2, I'm going to go out by another 1.5 inches, and I'll place number 3. So you guys should take note that the second line on these patterns is sitting on this new pattern paper. I don't know if you understand. I have 2 lines on the pattern paper that I slashed. The second one is sitting on this new line. Okay, so the line on this new pattern paper is just serving as a guide for us to spread this pattern properly. Okay, so the second line is sitting on this particular line just so everything comes out accurately. Okay, after spreading, guys, this is what I have. I want to use my masking tape to hold it down. So what I'll do is to trace out what I have here, as you can see me doing. Okay, so just go ahead and trace it out. Okay, after doing that, guys, this is what I have. So the next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and cut. So guys, after cutting, this is what I have for the cup. Okay, this cup is what we are going to gather, and when cutting, you are going to cut out 2 for this cup. Okay, because I closed my dart, the center front and the side front is together, and we have our back pattern. For the skirt part, guys, my table is quite small, so I want to use this fabric to just illustrate what I did for the skirt part. Okay, so first of all, I'm using 3 yards of crepe fabric for the skirt. Okay, so the first thing I did was to fold my fabric into 2, just like you see me doing. Okay, I folded my fabric into 2 like this. Okay, the next thing I did was to fold it over, okay, to get like a circle. Okay, when cutting out your flare, the way we fold our fabric is just what I did. So I'm going to pick this end and I'm going to curve it like this. Okay, so we have 1 folded edge and 2 open edge on the fabric. Okay, that is how I folded my fabric. Okay, the next thing you're going to do is to divide your waist circumference by 4, because this fabric is already folded into 4. So go ahead and divide your waist circumference by 4. After doing that, go ahead and add 2 inches, okay, as your zipper allowance. Okay, the 2 inches is going to serve as both zipper allowance and stitching allowance, because the only part that will be open on this skirt is the back, and that is where you are going to be fixing your zipper. Okay, if you are using 1 inch for your zipper allowance, just add 1 inch. Okay, let's say your waist circumference is 28 divided by 4, okay, is 7 inches. Then you're going to add 2 inches to this 7 inches. Is going to make it 9 inches. Do you understand? So for my own waist measurement, I placed my waist circumference divided by 4 plus 2 inches, which is going to serve as a zipper allowance. So what you do is place your tape like this and mark exactly what you have. So just place your tape. If it's 9 inches you have, place 9 inches and then draw a straight line on that 9 inches, just like you see me doing. The next thing I'll do is to determine the length of the skirt. So I'll be adding 1.5 inches band to the skirt. So as you can see, to take the length of the skirt, I took out 1.5 inches, which the band is going to replace, and I'm going to mark the length of my skirt all the way around. As you can see me doing, just mark the length. The original length of my skirt is 41 inches. That is plus hemming allowance. Okay, so after marking, I'll go ahead and cut out. So on the waist point, cut on the straight line. I'm just cutting above the straight line because this fabric is too small. So cut on the straight line. Okay, after cutting, this is what I have. So I'll open the skirt up for you guys to see. As you can see, we have just one flare. Okay, and this opened edge at the back is going to be where the only part we are going to stitch on this skirt, and it's going to be where we are going to fix our zipper allowance. In order not to confuse you guys, I decided to just trim on the waistline where I marked earlier. I just decided to trim it off. Okay. What I'll do now is to arrange my skirt in place to get the slit on the front. On this folded end, as you can see, I'm going to take half of my nipple to nipple measurement. Okay, so the nipple to nipple measurements I'm working with is 8 inches. Half of it is 4 inches. So I'll place my tape on the center front of the skirt and I'll mark 4 inches, okay, all the way down. Okay, whatever your nipple to nipple measurement is, if yours is 7 inches divided by 2 is going to give you 3.5 inches. So you are going to mark the 3.5 inches all the way to the end of the skirt, as you can see me doing, and then go ahead and connect into a straight line. After doing that, guys, you're going to determine how open you want the slit to be and where you want the slit to start from. Okay, so for the original skirt, I did 1 inch on both sides of this straight line, but this is an illustration, so I'm just going to take half an inch on both sides of this straight line. So it depends on how open you want it to be. You can also do half an inch on both sides, and you can do 1.5 inches on both sides. Okay, next thing is to determine where you want the slit to start from. To do that, remember to take out your 1.5 inches, which is going to be your band allowance. Okay, so for the skirt I'm working with, I went down from the waist by 16 inches. Okay, and I indicated the 16 inches. I marked it like this. After doing that, go ahead and connect, okay, from this point to meet where you want the slit to start from, as you can see me doing. Okay, so connect like this. After doing that, we are going to cut this part out. So guys, make sure you are doing this on just one part of the skirt. Raise it up. Okay, you are going to do this on just one part. Okay, I went ahead to just slit it open first, and then I'm going to cut the two sides. Okay, after doing that, you realize that the two sides of this slit is open. Okay, so this is how open the slit is going to be. Okay, so once I open the skirt up, you can see where my slit is. Okay, and when you are sewing, this two opened edge is going to be at the back. Okay, that's where you are going to fix your zipper. Okay, and that's where you are going to sew. So once I turn it to the front, you can see where my slit is sitting on the side. So guys, that is exactly what I did for the main fabric, and this is what I have. Okay, so like I said, to get where I want my slit to start from, I came down from the waistline by 16 inches, as you can see, and the length of my skirt is 41 inches plus hemming allowance. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do now is to close up this slit to give it a neat finishing. So I'm going to go ahead and measure around the slit, as you can see me doing. What I have there was 60 inches, so I went ahead to cut out a long piece of fabric that is about 15 inches long. Okay, what I'm going to do, the wideness of the fabric is 2 inches, by the way, so I'm going to use it to conceal the rough edges of this slit. Okay, I'm going to sew all the way around to give it a neat finishing, and I'll use my hemming gum to just hold it down. If you don't have enough fabric, just go ahead and hem all the way around. So guys, that is all for the pattern drafting tutorial. Stay tuned for the sewing tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. Leave your questions in the comment section. I'll see you in the next one.